Yes, you read the title correctly. There's not really a genre of film that I hate. There's not really a genre of film I'll avoid. Horror isn't a huge thing for me, but I won't put one away, if it's good. There is one genre of film that really makes my blood boil, and I thought, after some deliberation, and let's be honest, some hearty conversation with my wife, I thought I would discuss why I hate disaster movies so much. Look, I'm not stupid. I understand people love this genre, my wife being one of them. In fact, she wrote me out a list.
Right there's the problem.
I'm going to read out to you. This is how much of a conversation that me and her had the other day about disaster films. This is how much she loves them. I'm just going to sort of do some bullet points here and just talk to you about them while I'm going through. What I'm going to tell you is my 3 things in no particular order why I hate them. I thought I'd quantify it because it's just easier than me just spewing out loads of bollocks for 10 minutes. 3 things and 3 reasons why I hate them so. And we're going to delve into this list as well. If you Google disaster film, trust me on this, there is hundreds. Now I understand there is thousands, if not millions, of films out there in the universe and the world. But how many more disaster films can there fucking be? Honestly. To bring it to the list, like I said, these are my wife's top films. Perfect Storm, okay, not bad. Twister, it's kind of, for me, nothing really. Carrie Elways is in it, that's all I can really say about it, and I love Bill Paxton. Other than that, no. Day After Tomorrow is the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. Armageddon, who really talks about most of Armageddon? You talk about the last half an hour when Bruce Willis is on the end of the, spoiler alert guys, when Bruce Willis blows himself up on an asteroid. That's all anyone really talks about, really. And probably the soundtrack, that's about it. What do you really remember about the other hour and a half of that film? Honestly, tell me, I want to know.
Well, we're waiting.
Geostorm is the next one. I had to watch this yesterday and it's still not good. It's just Jerry Butler doing another film to pay the rent because 300 can only last so long before he has to start making more shit. It's terrible and corny and honestly makes my whole spine just kind of go. It's like watching all the episodes of The Office without seeing the humour in it. That's what I think of Geostorm. The next couple, she has Poseidon. Also had to watch that yesterday. It's just the Titanic with, Kurt Russell in it, and worse, really. And I don't hate the Titanic, but Poseidon is just a worse Titanic with more CG in it. San Andreas, it's The Rock as a helicopter pilot, but it's the same trope as every other disaster film, and I'll get to that later. The last one on here is The Impossible. Yes, a disaster film, but also a true film with good performances in it, so I wouldn't necessarily put that as a bad one, but it's the best of a bad bunch, really. Ewan McGregor and Naomi Scott are very good in it, but as I say, it's a true story about a real event that happened in most of our lifetimes. So that's why I can kind of let that one slide. But as a list, it goes with this. There is way too many. This is only 8, 10 of them, but there's hundreds and they're so boring. Now hear me out. No Substance covers a lot of things. Now it goes for a lot of disaster movies. The 2 examples I've written down are San Andreas and Geostorm. For me, there can only be so much shit flying around. Geostorm, for example, there's only so many times I can see Hong Kong or New York be blown up. Day After Tomorrow, you know, things being blown up, frozen, destroyed, people dying away from a flood or whatever. There's only so many times I can see that before I just go, yeah, it's just CGI. Now, I'm not, you know, some of my favourite films have got people, you know, pushing discs around, throwing discs around, a man who flies in a big red suit and a god with a hammer. I understand that CGI is around and that CGI does things that, you know, real life people cannot do. It doesn't detract from the fact that after a while there's only so many fucking tsunamis I can look at with CGI people, or oh no, it's terrible, or oh no, there's the Burj Khalifa falling down, or you know what I mean? There's only so many times I can actually watch the same tropes happen over and over again without, you know, when I can't remember the last time I had any impact in my brain of going,
oh no, oh dear, there's some more water going into the net, you know, into the library or whatever.
Or wherever the characters are. Oh no, Jake Gyllenhaal's outside in the car trying to find his dad. It's just boring. Once I've seen one, I've seen them all, and I'm sorry to say that if you're a disaster film fan, that's just the way it is. Yes, that's right. The one thing, probably, I know it's in any particular order, but this does wind me up. The characters, if you've got a child, they annoy the shit out of you, regardless if you're a disaster fan or not. They are annoying, they piss you off, and like the mum that's with them, who's obviously trying to protect them, just screams at people for no reason because, no, don't touch my baby, or whatever. They're in the way. Or the main character, mainly a man, has the same trope in most disaster films. I'll name you two right off the back: San Andreas and Die Hard. A man goes to a building, he has a family, him and his wife aren't really getting along, but they've got a daughter, or they're just, you know, married and haven't seen each other for a while. This big thing happens, he saves the day, she falls back in love with him, they're in each other's arms talking to a policeman at the end. It's the same shit over and over again. 2012, Day After Tomorrow, maybe not as much. Skyscraper, again with The Rock, that's just Die Hard 6. There's so many of these films that are the same. They have the same thing going on. There's normally a family. San Andreas, he has Alexandra Daddario as his daughter, which is weird, and she falls in love with a guy, getting saved by her dad, The Rock. They all stand on a cliff at the end, watching the whole world as it's burnt or on fire or drowned. It's just, the whole thing is the same. There's only so many times, I'm going to put this down now because I'm just going to go off. There's only so many times a man can save his wife while there's a disaster going on which brings them together. I mean, honestly.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Look, I understand. Not a lot of people are going to agree with me. A disaster film sells. A disaster film makes money. A disaster film people find entertaining. And I'm not one to, you know, say no. I've just mentioned a couple in my list on my laptop there that I did enjoy. On my wife's list, there's a couple in there as well that I did enjoy. Look, I hate a few of them. 2012 is one of them. I can watch Skyscraper again. The Impossible is a great film, mainly for me for the performances more than the actual thing of it. But I cannot get over how boring and how many tropes there are of the exact same thing. I feel like they make these, you know, they're making money out of disaster, which is fine. People make money out of a lot of things. But I just don't feel any sympathy. I don't feel anything. And that's what you're supposed to do with disaster films, right? You're supposed to feel. And I just can't. And I'm sorry. So, thank you for joining me on my rant this week. What do you guys think of disaster films? Do you hate them as much as me, or do you love them as much as my wife? Please let me know so I can let her know, so she can leave me alone so I can stop watching 2012 or fucking let's see, I don't know, any of the ones on her list, especially Perfect Storm. No thank you, can't be bothered. Anything with water, leave me alone with it. But guys, please don't forget, I'm still trying to catch old Stuckman boy, so help me get there, please. Please. Until next time, this is your friendly neighbourhood ginger guy saying, Ginge out.